would go like talk to my chef about how he needed to have me come back from Florida so that I could spend time with my wife. And my mom was finally like, my mom was like, no, Grandma, it's okay. Well, and then they ended up, like, this lady calls my grandma from Top Chef, and they wanted her to come out for an episode. But my grandma thinks I'm in Florida. So this lady calls my grandma, and she's like, hey, this is, Ty from Top Chef, blah, blah. With your son, or your grandson, Joseph, in Colorado. He put you down for this thing, whatever. She's like, no, Joseph's in Florida. He's not in Colorado. And basically hangs up on the lady. So she calls my mom. She's like, Janice, they get this weird scam call about Joseph, that he's in Colorado. And he's not in Florida. My mom's like,
it's actually true.
Ma, she's like, he is in Colorado filming a TV show, like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and they do want you to go. So she was like, okay. So that was like the funniest one of all of the people I had to lie to. And then eventually, after you're gone for a couple of weeks, everybody figures it out.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, oh, where's Joe? Where's Joe? Where's Joe? And for the thousandth time, Tony's like, where the fuck do you think he is?
Yeah.
And so when I got back, I just told all my cooks. I said, listen. I go, yes. I was gone. I filmed Top Chef. I'm on the next season. I go, we can't talk about it yet because it hasn't come out. I go, can't tell you anything else besides that. I go, if you have questions, I go, grab me. I'm more than happy to answer anything I can answer.
Yeah.
I go, anything I can't, I'll tell you I can't. And I ask that you respect that. I go, but I don't want this to be something we like talking about on the line every day. And they were great. And they were like, we respect that, like, blah, blah, blah. And they were amazing. And so, that was really fun.
At that point, you knew that you won.
Yeah, I'd won already. So
you were like, but you can't tell them.
Right. So, So I couldn't tell anyone at work. I told Tony.
Yeah.
I told my wife. I told some people. I told a few people who were in the backyard of this bar when I got home, the night I got home, because my best friend was there, and we got wasted, and he was, like, screaming, like, fucking Top Chef, like, really loud. So some people do. But it kept it pretty tight, and so, and we were all watching the season together as it unfolds. So my cooks, it was so fun. It was so fun. Like, watching the season live with my cooks was so fun. And, like, my sous chefs and my family. And it was like, it was everybody's Thursday night. Thursday night, it was like, what are we doing this
winning
Thursday?
Too? You're just like...
Right. And, it was like... and it was so fun because we just had viewing parties every week, and it was like, I remember after it ended, like, one of my buddies texted me. He's like, it'd be weird going to work not hungover on a Friday now, It's like every week it was like just partying, like, because it was like survived another week, like,
Fucking show is good too. Like, it is a good show, and
it's so fun when you got skin in the game, what I mean? When you know everybody, and you're like, and it's like, as much as I lived it, I hadn't seen it, what I mean? It's not like they let us see it before anybody else does. Mm-hmm. So you're watching it all for the first time, and you're just like, this is, crazy. And so it was super, super fun, and that was fucking wild. So we did that. I got back from that, and before I'd left for that, I knew I'd kind of started talking to people about doing my own thing. I was kind of in that point where I felt like I was ready to kind of run my own place, at least. Mm-hmm. And then, after that, I really kind of come up with this idea, like right before I left, of this kind of Croatian-Italian concept. It was kind of something I came up with right before I went to Top Chef. And so I got back from Top Chef. I stayed at Spiaggia for about another year and a half, and then I left. And I thought I was going to take about 3 months off. And then, go back to work. So, I left Spiaggia. I spent 11 days in Croatia with some friends, eating and drinking and, doing a bunch of R&D. Came back. And then, a year and a half later, it ended up being for the opening of the restaurant because, pandemic and everything.
Yeah.
So I spent, 18 months at home being basically a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
With my,
That's perfect timing.
Yeah, so... it was crazy, it was something I never planned on doing, and that was, a lot of perspective for me. And, I was doing some other things, doing some consulting and here and there, but, it was a good and different break, and, like, really a ton of time with my son, and, we planned this restaurant so long ago. We were pregnant with our son when I started planning this restaurant. So I just had another kid, my daughter, a week and a half ago. when we went in for the first appointment, the doctor was the same doctor from our son. He was like, "What's going on with you?" And I was like, "Oh, just planning to get the restaurant open." He's like, "Oh, is this number 2?" I was like, "Nope, same one from last kid." He was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "So that's how long this restaurant got delayed? Is a whole ass baby."
Got you. Was the space already built out and everything, or no? Everything got held back.
We finalized the lease February 15th, 2020.
Okay.
We're going to start construction April 1st. And then March 17th happened, and they shut down Chicago. So then it became like, well, what are we going to do now? Mm-hmm. So it was a few months of wild uncertainty. Are we still going to do this? Are we still going to have the space? Are we going to be able to negotiate this lease back? And then we ended up starting building in September of 2020.
Okay.
We thought we would be done in December. It took longer than we thought. But we started building with the whole idea of if we finish it early, we're just going to sit on it until, we're ready for it, basically. Because we're we don't, there was no point. We ran the numbers and we're at 50% capacity. We could be, at a place where we're not going to make the money that, we have, projected for.
Yeah.
But we'll be able to be an open, restaurant that sustains and pays the bills and, operates, So we're if we can get to 50%, we can open. So we were done building mid-March, and then we took a month to train and to let the city kind of catch up. And so by the time we opened April 20th, the city was at 50%, and I think we just hit it at the right time.
Yeah, heard that. And how was it hiring during that time?
So we got, I don't know what word, fucking lucky, fortunate, whatever.
Yeah.
And we were able to, my crew is insane. It's so good. It's a fucking joke. People come in and it's a fucking joke. Other Chicago industry people, and they're just looking at the servers on my floor, how the fuck? And it's I don't know. They showed up.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Where'd you find these guys?
Right. And it's just, our service team is outrageous. I hired a couple of really talented cooks who then, once they kind of saw what was going on, they brought in some friends who they had worked with. And so our cook team's incredible. They're just, they all bought in on it. And so we've been very, very fortunate. My chef de cuisine was somebody who I had lined up from my last place.
Yeah.
And he's a fucking rock. He was there when I went on Top Chef. He was there when I had my first kid. He's, been here for me when I had my second. He's Brian's,
Those connections that you make are just unbreakable.
Right. And it's just, everything you'd want a chef de cuisine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I trust him with anything. You know what I mean? Works harder than anybody, and it's the nicest fucking guy.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what I mean? That's what you want.
That's a total package.
Right. They can't be you, but you need somebody who makes decisions like you.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what I mean? Who cares as much as you do.
Mm-hmm. Treats it like their own restaurant.
Right. And I think people are, it's impossible to find, and it's not.
No.
It's not. You know
not
what I mean?
all.
I always treated it like my own.
Yeah.
From the second, and Brian's one of those people, and I think there's a lot of people like that here who do treat it like their own. And, so it's to be able to have that, and then, the sous chef team I have is incredible.
Yeah.
So we've been really, really lucky with that. And it's as we got closer to getting to full capacity, we had to ramp it back up slower because it just took us a long, we've been able to hire very good people, but it just takes longer.
Yeah.
Can we use another cook? Sure. Can we use another food runner? Yeah. Can we use another SA? Yeah. Can we use another dishwasher? For sure. But it's we have enough pieces to keep it moving, and nobody's working 6 days. Nobody's dying. And so we have a lot. Especially comparatively. So that's amazing. And so we've been really, really fortunate in the staffing department that. We've been able to attract really good people, or they want to come work here. I think, being new and different helps too. I think there was a lot of people post-pandemic who just didn't want to go back to where they were.
Yeah. That happens, yeah.
And I think, no matter what in this industry, you get that 6-month itch, right? Every 6 months you're
Let's do something else.
What's out there? You know what I mean? You have a couple cocktails, you get home, and you're scrolling Craigslist or Culinary Agents or whatever, and, you know. But so I think, you know, that put the big itch in everybody, and I think we were just, timing-wise, we were the right time where we were a little bit before the mad dash of hiring, of, like, where everybody went fucking nuts and was just like, you know, because it's, you know, like anywhere else, it's become crazy here. You know what I mean? Where people are just, you know, it's like, people texting my dishwashers nonstop, like, you know, and people, you know, like approaching your cooks at bars, and like, you know, you're like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like,
so how many covers in here all day?
We do about 300 every night.
300 every night. Okay.
Yeah.
Only dinner?
Only dinner.
Okay. Do you plan to go lunch at all?
No.
Okay. Heard that.
I honestly, you know, the biggest. I don't know if there'd be a lunch crowd in this neighborhood right now, just with everything. I think eventually maybe, but it's like we couldn't staff another service right now.
No,
that would be the hardest thing.
Yeah.
You know, we have enough staff to do what we do, and we're very happy doing, you know, I think the most, like, we're doing that like 3 to 350 range every night, which is incredible. You know, we've been doing 2 months of reservations. We let go at a time, and we book out 2 months.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's great.
Got you.
We don't need more. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I want to do what we do, what we can do well. And, you know, it feels like this is what we can do and still do it at the level we want to do it at.
Did you feel like you had like a confidence going into opening this restaurant that you, I guess, wouldn't have if you didn't win Top Chef, or if you hadn't had the experience you had before? Or were you like, okay, it's my first restaurant, holy fuck?
Definitely more of the holy fuck.
Again,
you know, I think it's that balance of, you know, oh my god, I'm so excited, to oh my god, I'm so anxious, I'm gonna fucking throw up. Yeah. And I think, you know, the year and a half of sitting around every night and being like, are we ever going to open this restaurant? Is anyone going to care when it finally opens? Like, it's been pushed back so long. Is anyone going to care about restaurants after this fucking pandemic's over? What the fuck is the world going to be like? Like, is anybody going to want to do this shit anymore? Or are people going to be like, fuck this, fuck your stupid fucking, you know, fancy restaurants. Like, there's more important things. Like, this is dumb. You know, and like, you know, that was like crushing for a year and a half. And then it was like in that first day of like letting the reservations go. Because, you know, everybody's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to come, I can't wait to come. And then it's like, but it's like, you know, throwing a fucking house party and you're like, I just get to sit here by myself and drink all the booze. That's funny. But, you know, so that first day when we hit the reservations and it went crazy. It went fucking crazy. And I was like, you know, just like, I remember my buddy, my best friend, he owns 2 restaurants in Detroit, and he sent me, you know, Open Table has a thing of like, your restaurant's been booked however many times that day. Yeah. And he sends me a screenshot, like, you know, 7 hours into us letting reservation goes. And it was like, your restaurant has been booked 2,800 times today. And I was like, he was like, that's pretty fucking good. And I was like, holy shit. And then, so that happened, and then it was like, okay, people want to come.
Yeah. Kind of gives you a boost of it.
Look, we're going to open the doors and people are going to come.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest concern. And then we're like, okay, now we can do this. It was like, all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it was like, open it. And like, people, you know, kind of came in the first couple of weeks. They're like, oh, you don't seem stressed. And I was like, no, I spent the last year and a half being stressed. Yeah. Now we're open. Now I can do my job. Yeah. You know, and like, my job doesn't stress me out. It's the unknown that stresses me out. Mm-hmm. When I'm here and I can control it, that's not stressful. Mm-hmm. Like, stressful shit happens. It's a restaurant. You know what I mean? Something lights on fire. Someone doesn't show up. There's no, you know, whatever. And, like, you deal. But, I mean, for the most part, it was like, yeah, you know, it's just like, you know, at the end of all of it, I think, you know, in a normal setting, you're, like, so worried about reviews and all this shit and all the bullshit, you know. And it's not bullshit. It's, you know, stuff that helps fill seats. But, like, after everything that had gone on, I was just so fucking grateful to be open. And that people wanted to come. Mm-hmm. And it was really easy to just kind of fall into, like, this is so good. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? For me to just feel so positive.
You're just invigorated.
Like, we got to do what, like, I'm doing what I want to do, and people are interested in it. Yeah. And, like, that, you know what I mean? It's enough right now. Like, you know, and that was like, you know, and I think also just for working for so many, you know, incredible chefs and just realizing, like, this is the dream. This is the fucking dream. This has been my dream since
Now
I was
you're